Okay, let's talk about one of cinema's giants, Ingmar Bergman. We're going to crack the code, right? We're going to find that one single key that unlocks everything about his films. And you know what? It's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. Let's dive in. So, what is it about a Bergman film? You watch one and it just sticks with you. That incredible intensity, the deep philosophical questions. It's an experience that's hard to shake. It really feels like he's peering right into the human soul. I mean, how did he do that? What was his secret? And here it is. The secret isn't on a film set at all. It's on the stage. See, Bergman was, first and foremost, a man of the theater. That deep, lifelong passion for the stage, that was the absolute foundation for his entire artistic vision. It was the lens he saw everything through. And I'm not talking about some side gig or a little hobby. For him, it was like an existential training. It started way back in his childhood and literally shaped every single creative choice he made for the rest of his life. So let's go back and see how it all began. It all kicks off with a puppet theater he got as a kid. That was his very first stage, his first time directing and creating his own little worlds. Then, at university, that passion just exploded. He's directing the big guns, Strindberg, Shakespeare. And for his whole career, the theater wasn't just a job. He saw it as this sacred, almost monastic discipline. Okay, so how does a man of the theater end up making some of the most cinematic films ever? Well, he didn't just point a camera at a stage play. No way. He completely reinvented the language of film by bringing theater techniques to the camera. Let's break down exactly how he pulled that off.
Just look at this comparison. It tells you everything you need to know. Think about traditional movies. Big, expansive locations, lots of action, fast editing, right? Bergman? He does the exact opposite. He shoves his characters into these tiny, confined spaces, relies on heavy dialogue and monologues, and uses that intense, soul-searching close-up over and over again. You can really boil his whole style down to this simple toolkit. First, the room is the stage. That's where all the psychological tension builds. Second, the face is a text. It's like a landscape the camera can just explore for days. And third, and maybe most important, the actor is the heart. They're the absolute center of everything, the vessel for the truth he's trying to find. And that first point, the room as a stage, leads to this idea of chamber films, which is so crucial to understanding him. He actually borrowed this from the playwright August Strindberg. Think about it. When you limit the space, there's no escape. He forces its characters, and, by extension us, to face their inner demons. There's nowhere else to look. And that's where the close-up comes in. For Bergman, it wasn't just another shot in the playbook. It was his way of getting that same raw, electrifying feeling you get from seeing an actor live on stage. The camera just studies every tiny flicker of emotion. The human face becomes the landscape of the film. But, this goes way beyond just technique for Bergman. He took this whole idea and pushed it further, asking, what if life itself is a kind of theater? And that's where his movies go from being just intense psychological dramas to something way deeper, way more philosophical. Yeah, he was totally obsessed with this old philosophical idea called theatrum mundi. Basically, the world is a stage. The idea is that all of us are just actors, right? We're all playing roles, putting on masks, performing our identity for everyone else. Which, of course, leads to the big question, where does the act stop and the real you begin? And that question just absolutely explodes in his masterpiece Persona. You have this actress who, right in the middle of a performance, just stops speaking. She refuses to play her part anymore. Her silence throws everything into chaos, questioning the whole idea of a stable self. The lines between her and her nurse get so blurry they practically merge into one person. It's wild. Or take Cries and Whispers. The whole house is basically a claustrophobic stage for the drama of dying. The sisters are trapped in there, forced to perform these roles of grief and sisterly love. And those famous red walls just scream theatricality, making their suffering feel like this intense, inescapable play. And then you get Fanny and Alexander, which is like his giant love letter to the theater. In this film, the stage isn't a prison, it's a sanctuary. It's a world of pure imagination and joy that literally saves the kids from the cold, rigid world of their awful stepfather. Theater is salvation here. So you see the pattern, right? This is the central conflict in almost all of his work. We all wear masks. They keep us safe, but they also trap us. Bergman's films are all about that terrifying but also kind of exhilarating moment when the mask just cracks and you're forced to look at whatever's underneath, if anything is there at all.
So, when you put it all together, what's his legacy? What did he leave us with? Well, by bringing the stage to the screen in this way, Bergman didn't just make films that felt like plays, he created a whole new kind of cinema. You could call it the Bergman effect, and it really has three parts. First, he fused the intimacy of the stage with the power of the camera. Second, by doing that, he basically pioneered what we now call psychological cinema. And third, well, he inspired just about everyone, from Woody Allen all the way to Lars von Trier. His influence is everywhere. And the key here, the real genius, is that he wasn't just borrowing from the theater, he was creating a true synthesis. He took the best parts of the stage, that intimacy, that focus on dialogue, and he merged it with the unique power of cinema, like the close-up and editing. And out of that mix, he forged a completely new language for exploring psychological depth. Ultimately, I think this quote just perfectly captures his whole philosophy. For Bergman, art, whether it's on a stage or on a screen, it's not an escape from reality, it's the opposite. It gives us the tools to face reality, to confront all the pain and all the beauty with our eyes wide open. And so, that leaves us right back where we started, with the one question that haunted Bergman his whole life. If life really is just theater and we're all just actors playing our parts, does an authentic self even exist? Or is the performance all there is? Bergman never gives you an easy answer. He just leaves you to wrestle with that question all on your own.